Frank, my dear friend, and welcome everyone. I'm delighted you're here. Guests, partners, of which there are many, colleagues, donors, and friends. I want to especially welcome you if you're with us for the first time. You who are just learning what Samaritan Ministry is all about, what we are and what we do. Because this breakfast is especially for you. You see, we good Samaritans, Samaritan Ministry, have a heart for learners, for those willing to participate in their own change, for those willing to participate in their own change. Those who are lost inside themselves and can't find a way out. Those struggling in poverty who can't find a home or a job. Those who, from the Samaritan story, feel stuck in the ditch of life and just need a hand up. A hand up. Now, the ditch may be a result of bad choices, bad breaks, failed public policy, or the growing chasm of income disparity between the rich and the poor in our region, or some combination of all of those. But none of that matters when a Samaritan Ministry caseworker sits down with a participant. That's the name we have for our clients because they participate in their own change. Then the only questions that matter are, do you want your life to be better? And what would that look like? Are you ready to make some changes? And will you participate in that process? Specifically, will you make a plan, set goals, and take small, manageable next steps to meet those goals? And the wonder is that if you say yes, you will receive all the coaching, the counseling, and the accountability you need, a hand up, just because you made that choice. Now, some of you know what's coming next. I'm saying you, but many of you are thinking, he doesn't mean me. I'm not homeless. And I'm certainly not stuck in a ditch. But come on, raise your hand if you have ever been stuck in this life. And some of you are a little slow on the uptake. You see, what our participants receive in the Next Step program is what we all need to receive from some source. We call it rigorous compassion. Rigorous compassion is really two things. On the one hand, support and encouragement. It's kind of the easy part. We get that. And on the other hand, it's challenge and accountability. That's the harder one. It's what your spouse or your partner or your colleague or your boss or your best friend says that you would rather not hear. It's the truth in love. Rigorous compassion is the gift that empowers us to grow. And Samaritan Ministry offers that gift to folks who have no one else to offer it. That is, until they walk through our doors. And over 1,000 folks do that every year, including the formerly incarcerated, the homeless, the jobless, those on the edge of poverty, and those living with HIV and AIDS. In a moment, you're going to hear testimony from Yolanda Jeter, whose incredible journey of choosing change over staying stuck is now headed toward a remarkable conclusion. The result of 10 years of her hard work and rigorous coaching from lead caseworker Annette Carver. But there's another key ingredient in our recipe for empowerment. When we invite a participant into the Next Step process, we also invite ourselves. A quote that has been on my office door since our earliest day reads as follows: "If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up in mine, then let us work together. As Samaritan Ministry marks 30 years of change work, that wisdom still speaks to who we are and what we're about. Because Samaritan Ministry wasn't founded just to help people, but to participate in their liberation, with the implied invitation that they would participate in ours. Now, as you might imagine, this requires a level of compassion, commitment, and vulnerability not found in many places. But the Samaritan Ministry, as many of you know, is not just any place. We are a pioneer nonprofit in a city struggling with an ever-widening gap between rich and poor, between those of us who do exceptionally well and those of us who are just trying to get a toehold in life. Samaritan Ministry relies heavily on volunteers, not because we're frugal, though we may be, but because we believe in mutual empowerment, in a community partnership where everyone is impacted, not a service provider model. Shortly, you'll hear testimony from Kathy Stout, a stalwart servant leader herself, who will bear witness to the impact of the work, not just on herself, but within her church and within her surrounding community. So when we speak of partnership, we do so honestly, as the essence of how we cultivate change in ourselves and in our communities. In fact, our partnership is really a community of communities that includes more than 200 regular volunteers who are staff, partner reps, board members, and committee leaders. And it's also a collaboration of service providers, other nonprofits, corporate collaborators, and a partner council of 55 churches and schools located throughout the region. This partnership has deep roots and powerful wings, too. Roots and wings that are now being tapped to implement a new strategic plan for Samaritan Ministry. But I hasten to add, the plan is just getting off the ground. In fact, carrying that metaphor a little further, we are building it as we fly it. So I want to invite you into the conversation. Soon you'll receive an invitation to attend one of 3 listening sessions around the plan in April and May. I hope you can join us, because all of you are partners in this great enterprise, all of you. What does that plan look like in brief? Well, it's going to where potential participants are, not where we are, but where they are, through new points of entry for the Next Step program that engage both participants and partners. There is the satellite site, the new satellite office at Our Savior Church in Silver Spring, the first among many satellite centers at partner churches, we hope. And then there is our collaboration with other service providers with like-minded missions for the common goal of enhancing job readiness and job prospects. Partnerships known as Hire VC and the Skyland Workforce Development Center. And then there's our common effort to engage and empower the families of boys attending the Bishop John T. Walker School for Boys in Southeast Washington. And what's more, we're in serious discussions with potential partners about 2 new steps critical to broadening the spectrum of participants we serve and to give them the tools that they need to meet their goals in this present day and age. One conversation is about rigorous readiness for and a direct pipeline to employment. And the other conversation is about increased affordable housing opportunities emerging from the growing commitment of local area governments to end chronic homelessness. It's just about time. But our formula is simple. rigorous coaching, plus employment access, plus options for permanent housing, equals the hand up our participants need in this overpriced, underemployed region. Now, all this is inspiring. I hope you're inspired by it. But it inspires because it reminds us that our liberation is found in engaging the stranger who is really our neighbor. A truth that's embodied in our community partnership. So as you listen to Kathy and Yolanda in particular, consider not only what you can offer in terms of your time, talent, and treasure, as Frank alluded to, but also the possibility that by offering it, you will grow in ways you could never ask for and imagine. And what greater gift could you receive? So thank you for coming. Thank you for being the gifts that you are, not just for each other, but for your would-be neighbor stuck in the ditch, who is you and me.